And welcome back to our penultimate game tonight. It's been a little bit of a long one, but great first day of quals, and we do have one more game ready for you guys. And I'm here joined by my good pal Sirius, and I can't wait to cast this one with you, my friend.
Can't wait either, because we've got Pen Island V2 versus Overture Gaming, and I believe on our Stream A game we have X13 versus Turbo & Co. So yes, that is correct. We have Turbo & Co. on mainstream and versus X13, and we have Pen Island here versus Overture. So this should be a really good matchup here, Joe.
Yeah, both of them. So, whichever you want to watch. Maybe, if you have a dual monitor setup, maybe if you just have one monitor, just throw them both up, watch both your games. If you really love competitive Siege, just tune into both. But for this one, I'm not completely sure of what I'm expecting per se. I don't really know too much about either of the teams, just given that I don't believe Pen Island really is a team. I could be completely wrong on that. And Overture kind of had, they made our last SFCL season, but we really did not see much from them. So not really too much from me on expectations for this game.
Yeah, we've just got Ice Cold, Lokiro, Mako, Scan, Prodigy for Pen Island, and then for Overture, we've got Snows, Pull, Lauren, Slinky, and Snoopy. So, like you were mentioning, we did see Overture kind of dip out of SFCL pretty early on in the group stage, so we didn't really get to see much out of them, and I'm not sure what we're going to really expect to see from their gameplay versus Pen Island. And Pen Island, I'm pretty sure, is just a bug stack, so we have literally no idea how they're going to play. It's all really going to come down to what our map bans are going to look like.
Yeah, indeed. I don't expect anything too crazy, to be quite honest, just because, it's a qual, never anything crazy going on, especially with a pug stack and an Oregon ban from our pug stack is interesting. But that's okay, because who would have thought? We're over to one of the other trifectas of very common maps, and it's Clubhouse. So, not really matchup wise, don't know too much. Can't really say too much for either of these squads on this map, but best of one on Clubhouse, we all know anything can happen.
Anything can happen in these best of ones. Something that Pen Island can just really do so well with is just kind of be unexpected, because we don't have a whole lot of information. Neither do Overture. So that's just going to mean that nobody can really prep for each other, so nobody knows what to expect out of this matchup. So really, it's just going to come down to how each individual player plays and just how their general strats go. So like you said, we're just going to kind of go into this kind of with a loose mindset, not really expect too much out of these teams. And so that should really surprise us.
Yeah, it should. Which can always be a great thing going into these games, just being surprised, not really knowing what to expect is sometimes the good thing. But as I'm told and as I can hear, we're going into the game. Don't have to wait much longer on what we have to expect, but game. Fantastic. And I could have sworn I saw something right there. Did you see something? Did you see that? Did you see what I saw?
No, I didn't see anything, but I heard something. So I'm hearing our producers scream in our ear, but besides that, we've got Hibana being banned out first. So hold on. I need a moment. Joe, I need you to take this.
So just, a little bit of a bum performance from Zay right there. And I just don't really know what to say on that, but no ban out from them. Interesting.
That's a new one. Banned out the most crucial operator, the no operator.
We ban Nook. I don't know if that's how that works. Is that how that works?
That's not how that works, but yeah, so we're just gonna replace that with the Valk ban. So I don't know what's going to go on with that. So we only have one actual attacking ban, so that's just going to be very interesting to see how this kind of plays out. Then we're just going to round things out with a possible, I would imagine, either Mira or Cade ban. Wouldn't expect to see anything too crazy. And it's going to actually be a zombie. I am I'm a liar. Call me whatever you want. I am stupid.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Ah,
I mean, Azami is definitely a powerful op on Clubhouse. Probably feel like one of the more, you know, strong maps for her up there with Phila. So definitely kind of a staple band for the most part. You see it pretty commonly on this map compared to other ones. So what that does actually yield though is a mirror on the board, and she can be pretty dang powerful on this map of Clubhouse.
it's just going to be really annoying to try to move into that blue bunker area, and especially possibly on the triple wall, as I expect to see where we'll probably see the other one be placed down. So it's just going to really make sure that wherever the defense goes, the defense always has eyes on wherever they go. So just a matter of, can you clear them out, or just kind of subvert that whole area of the map entirely and just possibly just avoid it entirely, and just make sure that you don't have to deal with it. But really, it's going to all come down to this roam clear, possibly, as we do see Overture extending very high up above.
Yeah, and a big extension from them, which, I mean, it's good because you have the mirrors to fall back on, but at the same time, you don't want to spread yourselves too thin. So one thing to keep in mind right there, and why did he do that?
So he can make himself a fallback, but I think he was just too lazy to go around the wall. So, whatever.
He went around anyways.
Well, we won't question it. He did the job anyway.
He did the job anyways. Hey, that's the big ol' important thing. But Pen Island starting to make their way through this strip side. Looking like it's going to be a pretty quick play here. Nothing too crazy. This gym match is not open. And Prodigy looking into bars here, watching the fallback right here. And they have a lot of control, a lot of that fallback potential kind of cut off at the moment, but Dunny does have that shotgun to work with, so whenever he wants, he can open that gym hatch. So Pen Island have to find a way through, get a little more progress here before they really get caught off guard by an Overture player playing in a spot that they're not really accounting for at the moment.
Pen Island just choosing not to really deal with the roam clear whatsoever, just leaving those two players up above all by themselves. So Scan is just going to try to see if he can open up the hatch, but Snoopy is impacting all of those Selma charges, so it's only going to be left with one. I believe it will go down, but does not actually go onto the hatch. So that hatch is just going to be left open for the remainder of this round, unless Ice Cold can actually open it up. But I don't know where he's actually at. He's kind of just off somewhere around the map. I can't see where exactly he is, but the point is, Pen Island do not have a lot of control at the moment. They've not cleared out any of those top floor players. They've just only taken bar control and a little bit of kitchen. So Ice Cold, it's going to be up to Ice Cold right now to see if he can apply some of the pressure up to those top floor roamers.
Yeah, and it looks like they're doing a kitchen dirt. Obviously, you have Prodigy just lurking at the moment, does a lot of damage over on Dunny of the Mute, and he started to find himself in a really bad spot. As you can see, he just walks his way in a lounge, and Snoopy just walks up. He just walked his way into a three-way pinch. Not a great play from him, not the smartest, and now that leaves them one player down, but Pen Island do have all the control that they need, really, but this hatch is yet to be open right here, and Mako ends up going down. Snoopy with his second of the round. Lokirio has to try and make his way to make a play of anything, but just sitting in the smoke, these players not necessarily completely aware of this, but he's just not looking. Pull with another one. Scan gets one back, but Snoopy with his third of the round. Pen Island just wiped off the map, and OG just taking full advantage of every single little mistake that Pen made on that round, and sloppy one at that, but a good defensive win.
Well, we saw Pen Island not really do a whole lot with the map control they took very quickly. We saw them surge straight into bar and kitchen, did not mess around with any roam clear whatsoever, so good job on them to try to realize that that map control is completely in their favor. Don't have to worry about anybody there. But they didn't really open up any hatches. Moto hatch was closed, kitchen hatch was closed, pretty sure stock hatch was closed. So now, at that point, you just have to funnel yourself down to the main stairs and through any other corridor. And now, at that point, you don't have to, the defense doesn't have to worry about anything else. They can hold those crossfires, and so it really just all comes down to the fact that they didn't open up anything. Ace charges didn't work. The buck charge didn't work. Just nothing was going the way of Pen Island, and it just really cost them that round.
Yeah, I mean, poor utility usage, you know? I mean, that's just what you're hinting at, and it's just true. But now they do have the double heart breach. They have a Thatcher to work with here as well, so nothing really that can stop them from doing anything. You have only a Mute Jammer to work with, so these walls should get opened this time as long as they're aware. So but Slinky, however, you do see that wall or window, excuse me, is prepped for a run out, and he's looking to do it. They are prepared for it. Good opening pick, but Dunny right there, ready to get another one, and that's the Thatcher of Ice Cold going down, and there is a Mute Jammer on the wall, not too much that they need to clear, and they're just going to be able to get this wall open for free because of that mute nerf that has happened oh so long ago. Awkward breach, but it is open, does the job enough for them, but they give away another pick on the nades as well, and just sloppy play from Penn Island to start off this game so far.
Just losing so many bodies early on is just really costing them, because that's utility off the board from now on, and that's pressure that they cannot use. That Prodigy could use some help to pinch out Snows right now, but Snows, because that pressure is gone, is just able to run away for free. He's able to move on back to site because of that, so it's just like really need to see Penn Island be a bit better with their utility usage and just being alive to actually help out the rest of their team. And we're just not seeing that, as just there's nobody else to push with them, as we see another kill coming out for Overture.
Yeah, and this breach being open in a way, it is tough for them, just because, you know, you from a red player can get a little bit more aggressive than you originally would have if that breach was opened properly, which would have been able to been done if that Thatcher was alive. It's not. So, I mean, another tough attack for this side of Penn Island, and a lot of control. They just don't have a lot of players in tough spots from Overture that they need to clear out. And with only a minute remaining, it just looks like it's going to be really tough for them to make anything happen from this round.
Just they have no idea what they really want to go for, because Diffuse is down outside the wolf door. Prodigy's just kind of rotating around to try to see if he can link up with Lakiro, but unfortunately, Lakiro's down to low HP, so he's probably not going to have much impact on the rest of this round, as there's only 45 seconds left and he is dead. I have spoken his death into existence, and now Prodigy has nowhere to go. Everybody kind of has an idea of where he's at. Now they know for sure, because he's just peeking floor holes.
Oh.
Does get a nice shot onto Snows, actually, but ultimately probably just only going to boost his stats just a bit, because only 30 seconds left. There's not a whole lot of room to clutch this round out.
Yeah, no really utility to work with, no HP to work with, no case to work with, no control to work with. A tough spot for him to be, but he's just going to try and work his way in. I don't believe he saw that from above the little panels on the ground. Dunny ends up closing out the round. A couple of big picks from him, and once again, a decent round win from Overture, but Penn Island, it feels like they're kind of just gifting away a lot to the side of Overture, and tough scenes from them at the beginning of this map.
Just not really being smart about just staying alive, not being smart about utility usage, just not really seeing the big picture at the moment. Like, we see glimpses of what they want to do, but they're not really executing upon it. They take some control, but then it's immediate like, all right, what do we do now? So it's just really need to see them kind of just get a better idea of what they want to go for, because currently Overture is just kind of running away with the momentum and just dictating the pace of the round in whatever they want to do. So just not really seeing a whole lot of Penn Island just doing that. We need to see them make sure that they play together as a team. And granted, this is a pug stack, but still, you should expect to see these guys play coordinated as a 5-stack. It's just like ranked. You played well together, you win games. If you don't, you lose. Story of just about every competitive thing ever, and it's just not seeing that.
Yeah, not at all at the moment. It's just players not being able to stay alive that are kind of important, and just poor utility usage in general. So you need to see them do a lot better with it. Hopefully Ice Cold can stay alive right here, but you look at the way that Overture is really setting up this defense. You have the mirrors, you have 2 shields, you have the Wamai, a lot of utility on that side that Penn Island's going to have to try and work around, and I hope for their sake that they don't push into this, but Snow's looking for a little bit of a cheeky play. Prodigy, more the wiser, and I mean, just there's another one right there, and another player goes down. Luckily, it's not too important of a player as they're going for more of a direct push, but they have a mirror that they have to push against, I believe. Yes, there is a mirror in that bathroom right there, and without nades, it's going to be tough for them to really do much of anything from below, as that is kind of the condition to be able to help yourself. You can really nade below that mirror, get it open, stuff like that, but everything is getting open, doing better utility-wise, but once again, an early pick that they just give away that they need to not, and there it is.
Being a lot better about their utility, like you mentioned, but just not really staying alive at the moment. So it's just really not looking good for Penn Island at the moment because they have no real pressure onto Logi or the highway area now. I think they just now opened up Cash Vault, but they've kind of only left one guy over on that side of the map. So those roamers can still pretty much linger here. Snoopy is not going to be pressured at all because he's got Snows nearby. So it's going to have to, Ice Cold is just going to have to rotate to try to group up with the rest of his team as they're just looking to jump right on in. But Dunny just takes out Scan as soon as he tries to walk into short.
Yeah, just no information from him at all. He's just walking in with absolutely no info, and they're just looking around. They're just looking for players that are just non-existent. The lack of information is just surreal at the moment, and you were right, not really having a direct clue of what they want. Did see that player rotating. He's going to take this fight right here, taking damage from God knows where. Slinky able to close it out, and a dominant way to start off this game from OG. And they look great at the moment, but you gotta just like take a step back if you're the side of Penn Island and go like, all right, guys, what do we want to do? Because right now they're very discombobulated. They're very just spread apart from each other, and they don't have a set idea of what they want to do. And that is really hurting them at the moment, just allowing OG to just take full advantage by just getting aggressive at the right moments and getting these picks that they really shouldn't be getting.
Just really should not be, because what you should be doing as an attacking team is like secure win conditions. All right, we cleared out the rumors. We don't have to deal with them. Okay, either make them fall back to site or kill them as they try to rotate back. Okay, not really doing that so far because Overture is still very comfortable on the roam, even if you open up the sight lines for them to have to deal with. Not really dealing with that too well. All right, that's not really going so well for you. Okay, what about site pressure? Well, we've lost 2 players really early on in the round, so now we can't pressure anybody within the actual site. All right, that's not going well for us either. So what do you do for Penn Island? Well, you have to focus on one of the two. Work it in steps. First, focus on roam, then deal with site players. Don't go at it all at once, otherwise it's just not going to go well for you.
Yeah, and I mean, part one, step one for sure, is get everybody into the map, because they haven't really had all 5 players really alive for much of the round. It feels like every round within 30 seconds, excuse me, that players are just off the map. They're off the board quite early, and it doesn't really help. It's not really a good position you want to be in, but you do see Penn Island is working a little bit of a roam clear at the moment. Ice Cold looking to get a little jiggy with it. He has switched off of that DMR. He's going to start making his way towards here. Shots go out. Players know they are there. Slinky does fall back a little bit here in Penn Island, doing a little bit better on this roam clear. The information is somewhat there and actually forcing Overture to fall back a little bit. So Penn Island finally taking this space and doing a pretty good job of it at the moment, and a lot of control resulting of that.
Well, they've secured at least one part of the condition that they need to require. All right, we cleared out the rumors above in master and bar area, so now we can open up those hatches. All right, that's step 1. Now they actually need to open up those hatches, something that they did not do very well last time, and that kind of cost them in the very end because they had to funnel into doorways. So now they seem to actually be focusing on clearing out the rest of these roamers, making sure that they can either kill them on the cutoffs, but Scan loses his gunfight against Snoopy. Now those players are able to go back to site, so that's going to be a lot more pressure on the actual bomb site later on in the round. And now that's a hard breach gone, so I don't even know if he used any of his Selma charges.
Yeah, giving away picks over and over and over again, and that's one of your hard breachers. And right now, you only have a map to work with, which can be good for the hatches. You have the hard breach charge as well on that side of Ice Cold, but it's going to be so much slower. You're going to have to actually walk up to that mirror to be able to get that wall open. The Ace, such a powerful operator, really, to be able to get that triple wall open. And now they don't really have that to work with now. And I believe that was a C4 going out that was missed. I could be wrong. It may have been an impact from Slinky. I'm not completely sure. Didn't really tell, but that hatch is now going to get open. They're not going to be able to impact trick it there. So that hatch is now open, but Lokirio trying to work his way through dirt, able to somewhat do that. He gets the control, door now open. The players know that he's there, but players down to low HP, and they're going to have to try and make something happen here because there's still no C4s actually on the side of Overture. So you have really no form of denial if they can find their way down here, and Prodigy does drop now into Moto. The play through him, he ends up getting taken down from a player close. They're not looking for him, and now so many spots for them to have to watch, but Lokirio does what he can to try and walk in. 2 players go down, and all 3 go down. Overture, a beautiful retake on the site, but Penn Island, once again, 2 players in the round needlessly giving away their life when they had certain positions watched, and it hurts their attack. They are now down 4-0.
Well, again, it just kind of comes down to the fact that Scan kind of lost his gunfight onto those roamers who were falling back to site. Really just kind of comes down to that, because if he at least got 1 kill to refrag himself out, that's a little bit less pressure on the bomb site. Okay, you didn't do that, lost the gunfight, now there's 5 men on site, and now they can just hold angles, because now, even though you did do a little bit better job on the actual hold of on getting those hatches open, you still have to deal with those 5 people on site, and because you're so spread out, not really working with each other, it's just so difficult for you to actually deal with that, and just, they were able to hold the angles and get the bomb down, but it just ultimately, Overture was able to coordinate themselves and just surge onto those last few players and able to get that defuse. So it just ultimately does not matter.
Well said. Well said. I could not have said that much better myself. It's just, you have these players, and also at the same time, we're 4 rounds in and they have 4 kills total. So not a position you really want to see yourself in if you're Penn Island. You need something to try and make this game competitive, because at the moment, they're not doing much to make it very competitive. And OG, specifically Pole, specifically Snoopy, have really done whatever they've want. They've been able to just do whatever they've want, and that's just not a position you can give good players. You can't allow players that are good in any way to just have their way. So not great from them. And okay, woo,
we're all dancing.
Oh no,
we're all dancing in place. Oh no, God no, please. Okay, are we good? I think we're good. Oh no, no we're not. Okay, maybe yes, no, maybe so.
Don't think we're good.
I don't. Ice Cold is just kind of jogging in place. Bear with us.
Getting his steps in.
Yeah, he's getting his steps in. I think he's about to get 1,000 steps in just one little spot. Oh boy. So bear with us as we kind of deal some technical issues. I don't know what's going to happen here, but all right. So 1 minute gone, and unfortunately, everyone from Penn Island was just lagging in place and not really able to get very far. So that's going to kind of hurt them, because again, they're still dealing with some of these lagging issues. So, oh boy.
No, they're just getting their steps in. So a little bit of a workout.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've just confirmed that we're going to rehost that round. So unfortunately, we're going to come back to our faces as we still hear a little bit of gunfire going on in the middle of the game, but thankfully that round is not going to really cost anybody anything. We're just going to replay it, hopefully get on a better server. So hopefully we'll deal with those issues.
Yeah. Servers. Fun. You know? All day. Every day.
All day.
Siege. Ubisoft.
The bane of qualifiers. Server issues.
Just the game itself.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
What? Couple of rounds? I guess we could talk about it for a little bit. Gives us a little bit of time to analyze a little bit of what we've seen. And seriously, I gotta ask, what specifically, let's say you're Coach Sirius. You're the coach of this Penn Island squad. You got your notes written down. You watched those first 4 rounds, excuse me. What are you telling your team in this little bit of a break? What are you doing to tell these boys? What can they do to win this game?
Well, you've already done a little bit better in terms of utility usage in that last round, so I would just focus on more just being able to coordinate with each other, just kind of force someone to work on actually getting those cutoff angles properly held down properly. Scan did a good job, but kind of overexposed himself. He seemed like he was just standing in the middle of a doorway. So that's kind of an easy gunfight for the defenders to win because they have a little bit more of those cover angles, especially on that, but it's just not really going his way. That's just something I think they need to focus on, because if they win at least 2 rounds, they should be looking good going into their defenses.
Yeah, they should. Hopefully they do need those couple of rounds, but we are going to go to a break, unfortunately, while we get everything in the lobby together. So make sure you guys stick around because, hey, you never know. Penn Island might make one of the best comebacks you've ever seen. So stick around.
All right, and we're back, sorted out our server issues, so hopefully we should be able to see more gameplay coming out in this B stream of SCS Qualifier number 1. Now, hopefully, with that little bit of break, Penn Island is able to kind of talk about some of their mistakes they've been making, hopefully able to kind of just figure out what do they need to do to correct them, Joe.
Yeah, they had a little bit of time to talk about it, which might be really good for them, especially if you were the one in the call, because, after what I heard from you, I mean, you deserve a job in the coaching sphere, to be quite honest. It was quite honestly perfection. I'm hearing that as a player. I'm going out there and winning these next 7 rounds of the game. So, but they do have that time to talk about it in all seriousness, and hopefully they can put a little bit of something together, because what they've really shown us at the beginning of this is not fantastic. So, I mean, hey, hopefully we get a little bit more of a competitive game, but hey, maybe the fatigue is starting to set in from their side. We are in our 4th game of the day, 5th hour of the quals, so, You know, it's just maybe that fatigue is setting in a little bit, and Overture is just exploiting that. Maybe they're just more built for it in the quals. You know what I mean?
Well, this would put them in a pretty good spot because they're currently 1-2 at the moment. So if they get this win here, that would equalize them out to 2-2, which would put them in a better spot for the second day of these quals. As we do see Slinky go for a cheeky little spawn peek, doesn't hit anything, but is able to assert some pressure. But now nobody from an island is able to deal with that at the moment.
Yeah, and look, talking about Slinky, a player who has a lot of upside. I mean, he left the game for a little bit, but he came back and hasn't had that same success as he had once had previously before he had left. But we all know how good of a player he can be. So wanting to see him stepping up a little bit throughout these quals, kind of get back to that form that he used to have. And what better of a time now than having this kind of opportunity to just be able to play in SFCL and now into okay, you just discharge the wall.
I think he got shot.
Just put it on there, man. Just do it, please. Please just do it. They don't have information. Just put it on the wall. It's a lucky shot. He was pre-firing. Just put it on there.
They're already gone. Man. They're already gone. Put it on the wall. Just take the control. Nobody's there. It's all good. You've done part of your job. Now just take it. You only have to deal with Snoopy down below, so that's going to be one last lurker on the actual map. But they don't actually seem to know that he's down here just yet. Mecha does seem a little paranoid that someone might be on the main stairs, but at the moment, Snoopy's just kind of chilling down here. He could go for a big late flank at the moment, so it's just going to be a matter of, is he going to go for it now, or is he just going to stall time and just let them open up this CC wall, or cache wall, or is he just kind of wait patiently and just let his team go explode onto these players in construction?
And that wall is now going to get opened, and finally around where it looks like they've done a pretty good job. However, that shield right there is in a little bit of a tough spot. I don't know if that Thatcher went far enough. It did. The nade goes out. Dunny somehow runs back with his life, but he ends up getting taken down by Ice Cold. Ice Cold with a second one. A nice double kill with the last bullet he had, but he does get traded out. Snows kills that player on the breach. Not able to confirm the kill, but he does get one. Lucario, a double kill himself. So many things happening at once, but the damage going in. Snows now in a tough little spot. He knows that one player is through. He knows the player is on red, ticking down to 1 HP right there. He takes one down. He is on an ace if he ends up getting all these kills. Mako taking some damage as well. Snows, no more smokes here to work with. He makes a little bit of a hole here, sitting in front of an open breach. He ends up getting close. He kills the player off the case. The eyes are there. That 11's out. Snows with the ace and the 1v3 clutch. Snows puts his team up 5-0. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for Penn Island, it does. Snows, a beautiful clutch from that side. And now it just feels like the momentum is just completely in that way. And Penn Island it feels like they're a little bit out of the game at the moment.
My heart breaks. My heart breaks in that round, Joe. My heart breaks. Because it seemed that Penn Island had kind of listened to me. They had done all the steps they needed to. They cleared out rumors. They opened up utility. They just did everything right. They did everything by the book. They played as a team. And then all of a sudden, Sophia swings. Solo fight. Gives him the kill. Oh no. Now he's got another kill because Thermite's trying to plant, but is not actually being covered by his teammate.
Why did he go for that, by the way?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Coach Sirius, what are you doing over there?
It's just like, because you don't have the cover there. You know he's going to be close by in CC, so it's just a matter of, like, you can go for a plant. You have to do it behind green box because now you have some cover, and that allows your teammate to actually hold your cross, and he can hold either the cache doorway or the red hall door. Just a little bit of a misplay there, and this really cost him in that final moment just because of a small mistake.
Yeah, but it's like small mistake after small mistake after small mistake. They might be small mistakes, not crazy big ones, but they add up, serious. They add up every round, and at this point, you just got to stop making them, Like, it comes a point where you got to stop making them, and they found themselves down in a 5-0 hole, and even if they start to fix them, at one point it might become a too little too late, and that's a tough spot to really be in to fight back from. So a lot of work for them to be done, and if they're going to try and, come back into this game, they're going to have to make little to no mistakes really at all if they want to try and get back into this.
being down 5-0 at the moment is going to be such a tough hill to climb.
Oh my
But
goodness.
Ice Cold is just already in Logi. He's taking control of this mirror window over here, and now he can get a kill onto the alibi of Snoopy. But Snoopy just kind of disengages, realizes that he's kind of just in a tough spot because now they know. And then that swing from Pole comes out, and that pressure from Ice Cold is immediately taken away. No more Ice Cold onto the mirror window in Logi, so that pressure is gone. So nobody can swing that anymore.
Nobody on his hatch either to help him out there at all. Snows the angle from Garage, gets another one on the round. Snoopy able to clean that one up as well. Players just in the middle of nowhere, all of them on their own. No help whatsoever for them, and now Scan's position will be revealed, and it just went from worse to even worse.
That's I think that's putting it lightly. But you know, I mean, it really is terrible, you know, because like we see Penn Island try to counter some of these mistakes they've been making. They kind of tried to adapt, but it just comes a little too late because Ice Cold took control of Logi super quickly, but nobody else was ready to kind of just explode off of that. Nobody was able to explode into Bathroom, and now just that pressure is gone because Pole just was able to swing onto him while Snoopy distracted. But Scan is able to get one kill, but is immediately taken out by Snoopy, as I just mentioned him before, and that is 6 rounds in a row on Overture's defense.
Question, Serious.
What's that?
Let's make things interesting here.
I like interesting.
Do you think that Penn Island, we're not going to say if they can come back. It's a little too easy, obviously. They probably won't. But
more than likely.
Odds
are not in their favor.
Do you think they get a round win?
Well, they've been adapting. Defense is a bit easier for you to coordinate with the rest of your team. They are playing a pretty good information lineup with Ice Cold on the pulse. So I say yes. They win at least one round.
I like that idea. Now, just to make things interesting, I'm going to say that they won't.
Oh. Things are getting spicy in this call, ladies and gentlemen. We have two opposing opinions. We have one that says they will get one round at least. We have another that says they won't. It'll be a clean 7-0 is what Joe says. So if it does happen, blame Joe. Don't blame me.
You don't there's no blames. Come on now.
No,
got another game going on.
I'm pointing all the fingers at you, Joe.
Well, that's rude of you to point fingers. Anyone told you that pointing fingers is rude?
What the saying goes? If you point one finger at me, you have 4 pointing back at you.
I don't know.
I think that's how it goes. But it is going to come down to how the Penn Island is able to repel Overture on their roam, and Lakiro not actually reinforcing the other CC wall. That means it's just going to get impacted for free, essentially. So that's just a bit interesting, but he is looking to get pretty aggressive, but Prodigy loses his life so early on. Lakiro is able to get a refrag, essentially, but he's going to find nothing else for it, but immediately gets taken out by Slinky, who is just ready for him to jump out. But so many refrags coming out here as Mako gets another one onto Pole.
Yeah, and not a lot of utility really on the site for Penn Island. They have the 3 smokes, they have the C4, but they do get a kill back, and Slinky is now down on the ground. Dunny trying to make something happen. Scan down to 1 HP. Dunny, who cares about picking up your teammate? No! Please, you just gotta kill one of them, but that's okay. They do get around. You were right. Overture.
I was correct.
7-0 them.
I just didn't expect it to be like that, but you know what? I'll take it. Good job, Penn Island. You did not get flawless by Overture, so good job on that part. But still, it's going to be so difficult for them to come back on this, but I believe Club is still pretty defensive side, even though CC has kind of lost a lot of its favor. But you know, it's not impossible. We have seen teams do this before, but it's just going to be a matter of, can they keep doing that, and can they be very explosive and keep going with those refrag games that we saw so well in that round? Because it was just like one after another, even though it just seemed that Overture was kind of just not really pushing together. They were just kind of sending one guy at the problem, and Island was just able to punish that. That's just pure and simple what just happened.
Yeah, and I mean, in complete fairness as well, is that right wall not getting? Oh my god, they're gonna put a mirror on it.
10 seconds left.
Interesting one here as well.
I don't only see it on that wall. You see it on the middle wall. They opened up the middle part, so that's
What
interesting.
happens when the CC wall gets open?
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
Or excuse me, not CC, the cash wall, the con wall.
But well, CC wall is getting open because they just left it completely open for a mirror. That's weird.
Can't they see it from the CC window?
I believe they can.
Not the actual mirror, but they can see. Come on, man. What's going on here?
I don't know what's going on anymore. This is just getting weird and wacky. Nobody knows what's going on anymore. Penn Island is just doing some weird, wacky mirror strats. I can't handle it. And Overture is just kind of just able to get some of that early pressure onto the mirror window because, well, kind of can spray through it and you can't really swing off it too well. But now they've just kind of decided they don't want to deal with it. They want to go for that construction site take. But things are just going very slowly right now as we're already down a minute. And nothing's really happened so far, Joe.
Yeah, but they do have all of this space for free, so won't really run into too much opposition here. And you do have pull downstairs into bar to kind of negate any funny business on the side of Penn Island. So Overture, they may be taking it really slow here, not a lot going on, but at the same time, there's not much that they have to worry about at the moment. So I mean, good for them. They haven't given up anything too early, and now you have 3 players over here on the con side. You have 1 below, and a lot of control over here. Now, without a Thatcher, they're going to have to try and get this wall open, and until they do, tough spot for them to be in.
Probably just going to be up to Pole to try to see if he can nade someone out from below and possibly go for a lurk up the red stairs or possibly garage player if they can catch him off guard, as everyone else from Overture is just kind of waiting for something to happen. Over on the construction side, Snows is just holding an angle into there. They may be just ready to try to nade off this bandit charge so they can get the cash wall open. But right now, C4 goes out, completely misses, just does a little bit of damage, but they are not able to get this bandit charge, so it's going to be a real struggle for them right now.
Yeah, and they're not bringing Thatcher, not choosing to, which is a little interesting. But Slinky does get that opening kill on the player below, I believe. So now you have a little bit of space to work with. Prodigy does get one back, but traded out by the nade of Pull. I believe that's the player top red. Pull, another nade coming out. Absolute heat-seeking missiles from him. Slinky drops down into the breach. He's able to get the kill. Lokirio, his position is found. And OG do take that other attack. Now, they've won the game, Sirius.
They indeed have won the game and just really did it through just pure discipline and just coordination, really. Just really great display from there, and just we didn't really see a whole lot of it coming out from Penn Island V2, and just really just showed because it was just such a dominant game for Overture.
Yeah, it was dominant, and whether that was just them playing really well or Penn Island really not, you know, it was just a tough game to watch for the most part, but a quick one at that. So Overture, I believe, even their record out to 2-2, and Penn Island in a really tough spot of being 1-3. To note to everybody, 5 wins is the minimum required from what I know. The math that I have done, not actually myself, from the math that I've been told, 5 is the minimum that you really need to qualify for close quals on Friday, I believe that is. So 1-3, not a good spot for them to be in. They're going to have to win 4 straight tomorrow to even have a chance at making those close qualifiers. And OG have really just juked that possibility and have put themselves in a much less pressure situation, and they still have an ability to just win 4 straight tomorrow and guarantee themselves into closed qualifiers. So obviously a big game, and Penn Island, tough spot for them to be in. So
Definitely a tough spot for them to be in, but we do, after that very quick game, we should still have some action going on over on the main broadcast at Nerd Streets R6. So between Turbo & Co. and X13. So that's going to be all for us on Stream B. Thank you for tuning in tonight. That should be it for us. it has been me, Sirius, and my co-caster Joe. Thank you, everyone, and good night.